and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tapping in. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to flag videos like this.
What does Costco know that we don't? Because it was just rows and rows and rows and rows of toilet paper.
The director of FEMA, Greg Phillips,
Gosh, what?
he claims he was driving from Alabama and then was instantly transported to a Waffle House in Georgia.
That's happened to me before.
He claims, though, that he was just driving along and then he just zoned out and he's in the parking lot of a Waffle House in Georgia. And he said it was a total of 50 miles that he went instantly.
Whoa.
And he felt dizzy, he felt sick after. But then compared it to a biblical event, like, was that intense?
Yeah.
Or like really messed with his head.
Yeah.
But apparently he was going through some cancer treatment, and like he's like, oh, there's the medication and stuff like that. But recently he's doubling down. He's like, I was transported.
Wow.
But I was here and then I was there at a Waffle House.
Dude, what's going on?
Sounds like a SCC Saturday night.
Uma forte previsão dessas condições no domingo 3 de maio. Será que tem tempestade, ventos, costeiros? Previsão de condições certo.
He said that I was on another world, that it was outside of my universe. So I wanted to understand how that's possible. And he says, well, there are many universes, and you've just passed from yours into ours. All right, so where is this universe? He said, it wouldn't do me any good to even try to explain it to you. I asked him how I'd gotten there. Well, apparently, whoever they are had been very curious about the nature of the universe. They tried to recreate a model of the universe. So he was talking about how they were colliding particles, and somehow a spark had occurred, and the spark didn't go away. Instead, it started growing. And as it grew, it started accumulating and creating more of itself on its own. It was quite large, and they had created another universe. They weren't planning on doing this. And it had evolved, and it evolved quite rapidly. And I said, well, I don't understand this, because we think the universe is billions and billions of years old. He says, well, where you are, you measure time much differently. Time is different in every universe.
It just came out in the Epstein files that the elites were purposely trying to lower testosterone in men so that men can't fight back, putting estrogen in the water, making men very passive and weak through social media. They're telling them, oh, your masculinity is toxic and you should actually just be super soft and sweet all the time and gentle and never fight against anything. It's to cover up the things that they're doing. Because if every single man had the mindset of, no, our job is to protect women and children no matter what, they would not be getting away with the things that they're getting away with.
You're familiar with Alex, the African gray parrot?
No.
Oh, you've got to look into this. African gray parrots are probably the smartest bird. Definitely one of the smartest animals.
Right up there with crows or ravens?
Smarter. They're very, very smart. They can talk. They can reason. It's like dogs that need to be exercised.
Oh,
they
like
need to be
a German
intellectually
Shepherd.
stimulated.
Oh.
And most people just don't have the time to keep an African gray properly stimulated. So they start, they get depressed, they self-harm. So they're not recommended as a beginner parrot by any means. Now, Alex was interesting because he had a vocabulary, he understood grammar, and he is one of the I think the only animal who asked an existential question, and he actually did it right before he died. If I remember correctly, like, he wasn't just saying, give me food. He could say, like, tomorrow I want this food. He could be, but the existential question he asked was, what's happening and where am I going? which is, and he had never asked those questions before. They were brand new, formulated questions that he asked very shortly before he passed. Now, here's the other cool part. He's got a bird brain. He has a tiny little brain, and yet it has all that capacity.
Hello, Dubai.
And when he was telling me about this, they were really very afraid that it was going to continue growing and it would just overwhelm them, and then what would happen to them. And that what they had discovered is that they were inside of someone else's universe, just like we were inside of theirs. He says it's just layers and layers. There's very little that separates one from the other. And they had learned that life had started to populate throughout that universe.
They had made.
Yeah, they were fascinated by this. Curious as can be how this was possible. And this doorway that I had gone through was something that they had put in place. They had these doorways throughout our universe in various places. They had been sending scientists in there to study the universe, because this was a whole new realm of science for them to explore. And when they started discovering life in there, well, they were pretty shocked. Apparently, I'm not the only person who'd ever come through that doorway. And apparently, these doorways go to other places on this planet as well as to other planets. The only thing that I can figure is that moving from one point to another was outside the dynamic of time altogether. That these doorways are instantaneous passageways to other places.
La verga.
Nobody is playing hole 7 right now. That is a big boy. Alright, Zane, you think we should move?
Mira, dice, llegaron unos seres ahí en un plato, ahí se estacionaron. Me dijeron que si tú les podrías prestar su vientre porque ellos querían hacerte una inseminación artificial porque necesitaban un bebé y todo eso. Y la mujer se suelta a carcajadas y dice, estás loco, dice, ahora que estás borracho, que andas tomando. No, dice, si ellos me dijeron que tú ibas a aceptar y ellos me dijeron que tú ya sabías que en sueños ya habías soñado. O sea, ahí se queda la mujer fría y dice, yo sí tuve un sueño, dice. A la semana esta señora Chelita, que se llama, tiene otro sueño revelador y le dicen, vayan al terreno de la Guada, donde hay un árbol de naranja grande, ahí vamos a estar, por decir, el miércoles a las 6 de la tarde. Fueron el miércoles a las 6 de la tarde y estaba ahí la nave, la misma nave. Ella sube a la nave, ¿no es cierto? Él también sube, le hacen ver ahí muchos cristales, etcétera, etcétera. Y ahí sacan una especie de pipeta pequeñita con un líquido que es el que le introducen a esta mujer. Y le dice, ya, eso es todo, chao. Luego regresamos por el bebé. Pero a los 4 meses, 17 días, sentían, dice, unas ganas compulsivas de ir ahí, ¿no? Y fueron los dos, y ahí estaba la nave. Entonces ahí ella entró y sacaban, dice, unas cajitas como de vidrios donde habían varios bebés. Dice, y sacan una caja vacía, ¿no? Y le ponen una especie aquí, una cosa como ventosa en el estómago, le ponen una aquí, ella se duerme, ¿no es cierto? Extraen al bebé.
Pero el bebé sale así como un nacimiento natural.
Natural. 4 meses, 17 días. Sin dolor, sin nada. Ella no sintió ningún dolor, no sintió ningún daño, no sintió esa que sienten las mujeres
cuando interrumpen el embarazo.
Ansiedades y no, nada, todo perfecto. Y les agradecieron y les dijeron, dentro de 10 años, si gustas, podemos traerte al bebé para que lo conozcas.
I don't know if you guys believe in people being capable of reading the future or not, but this post on X is making a lot of people speculate that that's a possibility. There's an account on X called Soothsayer that says, quote, reads the future, that made a post on July 11th of 2022 that says, quote, 2023, Corona ended. 2026, hantavirus. Now, this is a very cryptic post from a random, nobody knows who this account belongs to, at least I don't. And the news broke recently, like between the 2nd through the 4th of 2026, that the World Health Organization reported hantavirus clusters breaking out on the MV Hondius, which is the Dutch expedition cruise ship that was sailing near Argentina to the Antarctic for a tour that resulted in 3 passengers dying and multiple people contracting this illness. The reason why everybody is freaking out about this is because of the fact that the tweet's 2026 hantavirus line hit the exact moment that this story broke 4 years later, right after its 2023 Corona ended part. There are a lot of people that are like, is this a CIA time traveler? Or like, who is that? Now, that being said, maybe this is just coincidence, but it is very weird when like old tweets pop up that look like they're prophesizing about the future, especially when this guy hadn't posted since 2022. But I'd like to hear what everybody else thinks.
There the donuts go. You can see them on the conveyor. There's the dude, okay? I'm telling you, he's picking up the good donuts. Let's go check it out. See? Look at how the size of that rack is, how many donuts are coming down, and there's the rack of where they keep the good donuts. Do these guys look like they're really looking for good donuts? Oh, see, you found one they like. These ones are all, I'm telling you.
Now we know why Krispy Kreme is overpriced.
What do you think? This lady woke up somewhere and don't know how she gotten there and don't remember the night before with these painful holes in her neck. Hospital told her it was animal gave her shots and pain medication. Same area in New Orleans jogger went missing. This is what the camera street footage captured, but they wrote it off as a glitch. Look what I saw. Do you guys see what I see? After playing with the speed you can see whatever it is have legs. It grabbed him, bit him on the neck because the guy neck bent. Then it took him. Do you see the second being? It grabbed him here. Snap his neck or bite him on the neck. Then left. I feel like when it's supernatural, it's easier for the authorities to say no evidence instead of telling people something came as fast as lightning and grabbed this man.
Who built the Matrix and why? The origin. It's not just one villain. It's a cosmic process. The Matrix was not created by one being in one meeting. It is presented as a cumulative result of consciousness choosing finite energy over eternal life currents of source. And when connection to eternal source is lost, another fuel source is sought. The most available becomes the life force of being still connected. The primary architects are various different fallen collectives and groups. So key cataclysmic entry windows, which include the Electric Wars, the 1,000-Year War, and the final Atlantean cataclysm. And they wanted prevention of the Diamond Sun DNA activation, which is another word for the 12-strand DNA. And they didn't want human beings to remember who they are, so they can keep them in a low vibration frequency and continue to feed off of them. So the original celestial human being was designed to fully activate its 12-strand Diamond Sun DNA template, which is described as impenetrable, unable to be harvested or controlled. The Matrix was built to keep that activation from completing. It worked for a very long time, but it is no longer working because the larger truth is there is no villain to hate. And when we embrace the hero, the villain, the victim, all of it, the story collapses. The Matrix collapses. The only way the Matrix sustains itself if there's Democrat, Republican, red and yellow, black and white. If there's the illusion of separation, false evidence appearing real, you see? What we are participating is not a war. It's a remembering that includes everyone, red and yellow, black and white. All are precious in her sight. Sunni, Muslim, Christian, Judea, all made in the image and likeness of God, base 12, eternal life, mathematical code.
If you still wonder what happened, doctors and engineers.
Most people don't know what an atom is. And when you learn and know what an atom is, it is a trinity, a neutron, a proton, and an electron. You will find that that trinity transfers into every other field of human knowledge. In religion, it's called the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Oh my God.
In science, it's dielectricity, magnetism, and electricity, the three field modalities of the universe. Everything is magnetic. In fact, God is magnetism. Most people will laugh at that because they see little magnets pushing each other and attracting, and they think, oh, this is a clever little powerful thing. And energy is conscious. Energy is intelligent. Nothing is not. And that's what God is. God is. It is magnetism. So people are going to see that not only, I'm not going to be theorizing. It's not theories. It's not my theories. I'm not smart enough to make theories. It's just proof. And extensive, exhaustive, comprehensive proof, simple, that nature is simple. And we come from the field, the cosmos, the field, and the field is what most people call God, right? And the field is dielectric black light, which has its opposite and equal co-eternal white light, the yin and yang, which is magnetism. So there in the yin and yang is the secret. Basically, I'll be starting with that, the simple things of light and sound and magnetism.
I made a haunted book nook of an old Victorian study.
Tengo una pregunta bien seria para todos senderistas. ¿Qué pasa si les agarra la noche en el sendero de los Apalaches, las 11 de la noche, y que empiece a caer una neblina así densa que no ven nada? ¿Qué harían ustedes? ¿Parar? ¿Ponerse a llorar o a rezar? ¿O seguir, avanzar? Los leo ahí en los comentarios. Está densa esta neblina, no se ve nada. Vengo subiendo las colinas. No se ve nada ahí para abajo. Bueno, al menos con el teléfono sí veo un poquito más. Pero la neblina está densa. Como que dijera la neblina, vete para tu casa, pero aquí vamos. Los leo en los comentarios. ¿Qué harían ustedes? Senderistas expertos que caminan por los Apalaches. Los leo.
Leute, ich baue ja ein Haus, aber ich habe keine Ahnung von dieser Architektur und so.
Ich hoffe, sie ist trotzdem glücklich.
Is that the Minecraft experience?
What the We playing Bruce Aid in real life, cuz. What the
A ver, escuchen, ¿por qué 670 personas adentro de este crucero? Solamente se ha dado a conocer un solo video de esta persona que está aquí. A ver, ya sé, ya vamos a empezar, pero a ver, ¿y los otros no tienen teléfono celular? ¿No tienen internet? ¿Fue el único que alcanzó a subir video? Porque yo, si estuviera dentro de ese crucero, estaría subiendo 5 videos al día, contándole a la gente todo lo que se está viviendo ahí dentro. Porque, ¿y los demás? ¿Han visto videos de otras personas? Yo no, yo la neta no. Salvo este. Solo pónganse a pensar, todos llevan un teléfono celular, el internet no se los podrían cortar porque tienen que estar en contacto con sus familias. Y aquí ya vamos a empezar. Algo más está sucediendo allá adentro que dijeron, no lo pueden mostrar. Es más, échenos sus teléfonos celulares, adiós internet, solamente llamadas telefónicas desde este teléfono. Y hasta ahí. ¿Quién sabe? ¿Quién sabe? Pero yo no he visto otros videos. Y si tú has visto un video, por favor, házmelo saber. Porque yo no he visto otro. No he visto otros. Por favor, los veo a todos en los comentarios. ¿A qué creen que se dan? Que nada más se ha dado a conocer un solo video. Y los demás, compartan este video para ver si más personas han visto otro tipo de videos de los demás pasajeros. Den like a este video y no olviden seguirme, porque le voy a estar dando seguimiento todos los días. Yo soy Carlos Chavira. Chao, chao. Bye, bye.
So all these images coming out of this are starting to look very familiar, like too familiar. And I thought about how would I talk about this subject without my video getting flagged, because if I talk about what happened in the past, well, the recent past, all those videos always get flagged. So let's talk about just some of the basics up front. A virus broke out on a cruise ship, people were quarantined on it, but before that seemed to happen, a lot of people got off the boat and went to all the corners of the world. You know, and contact tracing has started, and they'd only do that if they're worried about exactly that, tracing the contacts. And if you get on world news, the world news is covering this, but American news, they barely just started covering. And I'm going to speed run a lot of this, I guess. This guy's definitely reading a teleprompter. I don't know if he wrote a script and he's reading his own script, but something's definitely off on this guy's video. Argentina is starting to catch and test rodents at the origin point, but reports are saying 23 people got off of the ship and went to all corners of the world. All this is happening right before the World Cup, where people from all around the world are going to be in one spot. 7 Americans who returned back to the United States are being monitored by state health departments. You know, the U.S. left the World Health Organization, and also Argentina. And where did this originate from, they're thinking? You know, there's a lot of theories of what happened in the past, and there's going to be a lot of theories with this one. I guess we're just gonna wait. But if this video doesn't get flagged, I'm definitely going to cover this more, so prepare for that.
My wife's casting out a demon out of a lady, and the husband was in the room, and they play these little games, and they try to throw you off. You know, he was asking my wife stuff like, don't you got a taste for some fish? And like, what? And they are crazy, dude. They try to get your attention off of everything off of them. So finally, the demon said to the husband, did you know your wife got herpes? And they thought the demon was just talking. After the deliverance, the husband asked his wife, got herpes? She said, who told you that? He said, the demon told me that. She said, oh, I'm sorry. I just thought if I told you that when we got married, you would marry me. Dude, it's another world. It's another world. We cast a demon out of a lady, and every man of her family had her. The demon sat up there, gave us the names of the men, and said, I'm the one who convinced the men to do it to her. We finished the deliverance, told the girl what happened. She said, how y'all know these men did this to me? They said, the demon told us. And so guess what? The reason why so many men of God don't have arrogant authority over Satan like me, when I tell Satan, for years I've been telling him, let's see if you can kill me if you're that good. I've been telling Satan that. I tell him that publicly. And I always tell Satan, you're going to always need more men when they come to me, son. You a rat, I'm a lion. You're gonna always need more men. But they can't do that because they don't even believe in the thing that Jesus said.
Oh my goodness.
You cast out your first demon, your arrogance goes up like this when it comes to darkness.
Picked up a loaf of Nature's Own Life protein and wheat, keto friendly, 22 grams of protein. Expiration date May 14th, 2026. Took off the butt and then this piece, and you have a precursor with this piece of what's going to happen. The loaf is, half the loaf's gone. It's a big giant hole. The whole thing. Just air. I bought air.
That's the keto-friendly part of the bread.
And I got a video that's 22 years old from a guy who I know owns a marina. I was in Mombasa, Kenya on the coast. I go talk to the local fisherman. I said, "Are mermaids real?" He said, "Of course. But we can't tell them that. We won't get no tourism dollars. But at nighttime, you are not allowed to go to the water's edge." And all across the coast, everybody got electric fences, and you can't go outside at a certain time. Did you see the guy on Joe Rogan's podcast when he said that we went to Seychelles Islands?
Yeah, what he said?
He saw the merman?
Yeah.
All of the pirate maps from the 1500s to 1810 had areas where they said sirens existed, beware.
This is why we're going to get the aliens, quote unquote. This is why they're telling pastors right now to get ready, their congregations to get ready, because what's about to get disclosed for the UFO files, it's going to change the Bible. Wow.
They literally just said it.
They just said that.
¿El Mundial de Fútbol será utilizado para regar un virus? ¿Viene una nueva pandemia? Esto que están viendo aquí es la portada de la revista The Economist, que siempre sale a final de cada año para pronosticar lo que puede venir para el siguiente año. Muchos dicen que son los poderosos los que fabrican estas portadas sabiendo lo que viene. Y en esta ocasión miren el jugador de fútbol. ¿Qué hay encima de él? Jeringas. ¿Será que van a utilizar el Mundial para regar este virus Hanta que está por estos días sembrando el terror? Economist lo volvió a hacer. ¿Qué va a ocurrir con el Mundial? ¿Viene un nuevo encierro? ¿Qué opinan ustedes de esta portada que salió a finales del año pasado? Y miren lo que está pasando en la actualidad. ¿Y será que sí? Jeringas, futbolista, Mundial, guerras.
And that's a wrap on this episode, fool. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me, smash the subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.